Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Installment of Scott Selections here for Sunday, September 12th. We're getting today's play of the day. Quick recap of what happened yesterday. A lot of plays to go through, so I'll go through them quickly. We had a losing day, ended up going 2-3 for minus 1.2 units. College football, we did not really do too well in, went 1-3 overall. Recapping those, at NC State in the middle of the week, minus 2.5 and minus 114 on FanDuel. They gave up a touchdown on the opening kickoff, not exactly the start you need. Then they outplayed Mississippi State about as badly as you can outplay a team in the first quarter, and had 3 points to show for it. They had the really, really awful halfback Tebow jump pass on 3rd and goal, which might have been one of the worst play calls I've ever seen. Got intercepted. Then they missed a field goal. Then the whole game really unraveled after that, but ended up losing with Boston College first half, minus 22.5 on the joint show. They were up 14-0 after the first quarter against UMass. And then UMass, of all teams, went on about a 7.5 to 8.5 minute drive there. Didn't even score on the drive. They ended up getting turnover on downs. But the point is that UMass ate the entire clock, and Boston College simply just didn't have enough time to come even close to covering the number. Then picked up a winner with Eastern Michigan, team total under 13.5 at minus 110 on Fox Bet. I believe Eastern Michigan had about 60 yards of total offense going into the fourth quarter. Wisconsin's defense was phenomenal, and they only gave up actually 0 points. The only touchdown that Eastern Michigan scored was a pick six, but ended up losing the other play with Buffalo plus 14 at minus 110 on BetMGM. Game was very close for about, I'd say, the first 20-something minutes, and then Martinez broke a sack on 3rd down, ran 70-something yards, and then Nebraska really just put it to him. Buffalo missed a bunch of field goals, a lot of failed 4th down conversions, really awful play calling, but Buffalo hung in there, but unfortunately did not hang in there long enough. And then on the bright side, ended up winning the play that yesterday in baseball with the Mets team total over 3.5 at minus 110 on BetMGM. So once again, all those plays, 2-3 overall, minus 1.2 units. Not a good day, but look to bounce back here on Sunday. And for the play of the day, we're going to be looking at the NFL for the first Sunday of the NFL season. We're going to be looking at a player prop and a matchup between the Eagles and the Falcons taking place at around 1 p.m. Eastern time. And for the play of the day, we're going to be going to a rookie, and we like Devontae Smith over 3.5 receptions at minus 115 on DraftKings. Time recording of 2:33 a.m. Eastern time. Couple reasons why I like the over in this spot. First of all, you're getting a great price on DraftKings. The same bet, 3.5 receptions. The over is minus 148 on FanDuel. So you're saving about 33 cents a juice just by shopping your lines, which I'm sure you've probably gotten tired of me talking about on the show, but I will always take value if I can find it. Now, I also love the matchup here for Devontae Smith. And now I know as a rookie who had some injury issues earlier in camp, people are a little bit scared to go near him. However, if there was ever a perfect matchup to start your professional NFL career, this would be the one, because the Falcons have arguably the worst pass defense in the entire league. That was the case last season. The Falcons allowed the most passing yards per game and also allowed the second most QB completions per game. So the Falcons really just struggled against the pass the entire season, which adds up because the Falcons were actually pretty good against the run. The Falcons allowed 104.8 rushing yards per game, which was the 7th fewest in the league. So people are anticipating the Eagles to run the ball a lot with Sanders and with Hurts. However, I do think that's matchup-based, and if you want to beat the Falcons, running the ball is not going to do it because this secondary is so bad. You have to exploit it at pretty much all times. And you might be wondering what the Falcons did to improve the secondary, because that was the main issue last year. And the answer is not much, because according to Pro Football Focus, the Falcons once again have the worst secondary in the entire league. So if you think that Hurts is going to be able to pick apart this defense, I think Smith should be able to get at least 4 receptions as arguably the number 1 receiver on the depth chart who should get a decent portion of the target share. But if you want to look at Smith and what he did in preseason, limited action, but he did look pretty sharp there. Of course, he has the connection with starting quarterback Jalen Hurts from college at Alabama, and I do think he's going to fit in quite well with the new head coach, Nick Sirianni, and his offensive system. If you remember, Sirianni's the offensive coordinator for the Colts. He really loves a lot of short, quick passes, get his receivers into space and see if they can break something. And Smith is really the perfect wide receiver for that. I know at Bama, he also caught a bunch of deep passes, but Smith is such a crisp route runner, and he's so difficult to press at the line because of his shiftiness. I do think he'll be able to create quick separation, which should allow for a lot of quick completions to take place during this game. Plus, if you want to look at the actual matchup that Devontae Smith's probably going to have, it's going to be A.J. Terrell, who the Falcons took in the first round, questionably, in the first couple of years ago. And Terrell has really not been that good ever since he ended up going into the NFL. I think Smith should torch him whenever he has the chance, but I do think that Sirianni is going to get creative with how he uses Devontae Smith, similar to the way that Bama did. Of course, not to the same success, because Devontae Smith had arguably the greatest receiver season of all time in college. But I do think Sirianni's going to experiment with Smith either on just in the slot, maybe on the really either side. The point is, I think Sirianni's going to shift them all over the formation, and I think that Smith should get ample opportunities and targets to end up getting these 4 receptions. I expect Smith to probably end up with around 7 or 8 targets, and I do think that he should be able to get at least 4 receptions if they're going to be a couple of quick ones, especially since it's his first career game. I know that the Eagles had a lot of high hopes, which is why they drafted him in the first round. And I do think that they might even force feed a couple of screens to Smith just to see what he can do with it. But at the end of the day, 3.5 receptions against the worst pass defense in the league is way too low. And I think that Smith should go over there relatively easily. So the play today, once again, here for Sunday, September 12th, is going to be on Devontae Smith over 3.5 receptions at -115 on DraftKings. Bye, everyone.